What if I told you in this scene I'm cooking on a campfire that's completely out of sight? This is known as the invisible fire, the stealth fire, and the Dakota Fire Hole. It's almost completely invisible to passers-by, so you could have a fire without anyone knowing. It's often taught in the military and survival because if done right, it produces almost no smoke at all. And it's the best fire to make during very high winds. Or without any changes, you could build it up and enjoy a nice evening with a smokeless fire. Here's how to build it. There's only a couple rules for this fire, as essentially it's just a fire in a hole, connected by a vent hole. Rule number 1, your fire hole should be slightly larger than your vent hole, and it should be located on the upwind side, because the purpose of it is to feed clean oxygen to the bottom of the fire, and having it upwind makes it a lot easier for that oxygen to get in there. So we've got our first hole there. It's just shy of 2 feet deep and about 1 foot diameter. Now about 14, maybe 16 inches, we have our vent hole, and we're gonna dig that down on an angle straight into that fire pit. So air and oxygen goes down the bottom and we start our fire in there and the flames come up the top. To help understand why that vent hole needs to be smaller, think of it as putting your finger over a garden hose and it increases the water pressure. In the same way, that smaller vent hole concentrates airflow and increases airspeed as it enters the fire chamber, so you get better oxygen delivery right to the base of the fire. The result is a hotter, cleaning, burning fire with less smoke. Rule number 2, you want to make sure there's no big tree roots when you're digging your fire pit. If there's a lot of roots, you could accidentally start an underground fire, which will unknowingly travel through the root system of trees. And that could spread pretty fast without you even knowing it. Slightly wet sand is probably one of the best conditions you could build this fire in, as that really dry sand will often collapse. When you start your fire initially, there is going to be some smoke. But as that fire builds and that air intake hole turns into a sort of vacuum, that clean combustion will start happening. If you want the least amount of smoke, it's really important to only use dry wood. Don't feed the fire from any sticks or leaves or pine cones you find on the ground. Those will generally have some moisture in it, which won't burn fully, and that in turn turns into smoke. If you want your fire the maximum amount of stealth, you could build up the sides a little bit higher, and in general just keep your fire lower. But if you're just going for a casual smokeless fire, then you could build it up big and still have those flames coming up the top. The flames are licking up high because I just stoked it with a lot of wood, but generally you keep the flames a bit lower. So you can see this fire is virtually smokeless. It's because air is coming through here and feeding the bottom and going up that way. You could make your fire any size you want, just stick close to the golden ratios. The fire hole depth should be 1 to 2 times the fire hole diameter for a proper chimney effect. The tunnel should be 1.5 times the diameter of your fire pit, and your vent hole should be 1/2 the diameter of your fire pit. To cook over it, I'm just using a grill, but you could make a smaller fire hole and put your pot right on top, or lay big greenwood sticks and put the pot on top of that. Alternatively, you could hang one from a greenwood stick right on top of the fire. This is a leave no trace fire, so when you're done, all you have to do is kick all that sand back in and no one can tell you even had a fire there. And that's the Dakota Fire Pit, or the invisible stealth fire. I'm your friend DJ with the Bare Essentials, and thanks for stopping by.